Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Sunday morning Sunday School Storytellers. We're so glad to have all of you join us this morning in person and by ways of online broadcast. We have all of our classes and sessions going on around the campus today, but we're excited today to have a very special guest, a longtime friend of ours, Sister Janet Leathers, join us with Storytellers today. God bless you. Thank you for being with us, Janet, and it's so good to see you. How have you been doing?
Very good. I've been very good. Busy, but good. It's very good to be here. I just want to say this is like a second home to me.
Yes.
I notice a lot of right. A lot of familiar faces, and you guys are like my family, so it's wonderful to be here today.
Well, we're glad to have you back. And the other week, Sister Caitlin Greenleaf, our worship arts pastor, she texted me and she said, Pastor, I know Greenleaf family is going to be out of town on a vacation with their family. And what do you think about having Sister Janet come and lead worship? And I was like, that's like an excellent idea. I love the idea because we've known Janet for many, many years. And then she was also a member of our church several years ago for a season in her life. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But to lay a little bit of foundation this morning, Sister Janet is here as special guest. She's going to be leading worship for us today, and we're very excited about that. And but our friendship goes back many, many years, back to the good old Georgia District campgrounds and churches between Macon and Conyers and everywhere in between. And so, Janet, do you actually recall some of the first times that we actually worked together in ministry at the campgrounds? Yes. What were some of those times?
I was actually just talking on the phone with my best friend last night about that, and he was like, "Okay, who are these people?
Yeah.
Are they good people?
Yeah.
Like, I'm checking." I was like, "The best." And I was like, "I met Michael probably when I was 13.
Yeah.
Maybe younger. Did you go to junior camp too,
Well, yeah, not as much
but
junior camp, because when I went to junior camp, I was always a scaredy cat,
yeah.
And I never wanted to stay in the dorms by myself. Right. In fact, there was years that my mom would actually go and help staff at junior camp, and every single night, I remember one week I went, every single night of junior camp, my mom was staying in a camper and not far from the boys' dorm, and every night when we would go to bed, I would lay in the bed and wait till everybody kind of got quiet, and then I would go to the dorm dad and be like, "Dorm dad, my stomach hurts." And he would be like, "Well, can you just go to sleep?" No, I think I need some help. And he's like, "Well, we can take you to the camp nurse." I'm like, "Well, my mom is just right down here." Right. And he said, "Okay." And I think he called on after the second night. But nevertheless, so mainly closer to the teen camp time frame.
So we got connected. Like, I knew of you or whatever, but we got connected through Sister Allison Batten.
Yes, yep.
Shout out. She asked us to be on a praise team called Adoration.
Oh, wow.
So it was back in 2000.
Wow.
The year 2000, I remember.
So 23 years ago.
Yes, I was 14, and you were the drummer.
Lord help us.
And, yeah, so that was when our ministry paths kind of crossed, and I just always... And Denisha,
that's
we
right.
met, and we just became fast friends.
That's right.
But we always just said you were just this old soul. That's what I was telling my friend last night. He's like, he was never a kid. You know what I mean? Like, he was never like a teenager. He was just always like a minister, grown up, and he could have a good time, but he was always just very like wise, and he always gave great advice and very godly, And so that's where we met, and then.
Well, I'm glad that I fooled you very well. I definitely felt like a calling upon my life, but at the same time, just like yourself, always just wanted to be used by God.
Right.
And that's some of my longtime memories that of you as well. That whatever needed to be done,
right.
You were there to do it. Mm-hmm. And so back of course when you, myself, and my late wife were all in the music group together, and we would do teen camp music and senior camp music and all the things, even before before the worship became the most popular thing, and the videos and the lights and the cameras and all
Thank
that.
God for that.
Right?
Honestly, I'm like, I did not need a camera in my face when I was 14.
I tell you what, those are some interesting days. But we learned a lot.
Yes.
And there was a lot of growth and maturity in that. And so tell us a little bit about your ministry progression as you grew in ministry, whether it be the local church or the district or however it is now, how the Lord helped you to grow and mature in ministry.
Okay. Wow. That's a long kind of story, but I'm sure a lot of us can relate, people who've grown up in the church.
Yeah.
I never would have probably felt the confidence or felt equipped had it not been for those who went before.
Absolutely.
And laid the foundation.
Absolutely.
And gave me the encouragement, to do it, and pushed me a little bit out of my comfort zone, because I know we all think, ministry should be someplace. Obviously, you need to be comfortable.
Sure.
And feel right. Like, some people are not natural leaders.
Right.
They are in the background, or the technology people are up there more behind the scenes.
Right.
But we need all of us.
We need all of them, absolutely.
The body perfectly fit together.
That's right.
But I was talking to Mom about it, because when you asked me yesterday to do this, I was asking her about it, and we were just talking. I said, but you know what? She said, I'm very thankful, because my niece Jessie was there, and she's very involved in ministry.
Oh, yeah.
My whole family. And so my mom just said while she was doing the dishes, I'm just so thankful to have all my family, all my girls loving, serving the Lord.
Yes,
and I stopped her and I said, but this is in large part due to you.
Amen.
And she just shook her head. She said, well, no, I'm not musical. I said, no, Mom, I didn't say that.
Right.
I didn't say it had to be music.
Right.
But I said, you've always been a leader. And she's one of those behind the scenes. That woman can cook. She can host.
Yes.
That is not my gifting. Because the hosting, it stresses me out. I have to feed a lot of people. No, thank you. But that's her gifting. And then she started a puppet ministry when we were kids. And that's what got me involved in children's ministry.
Wow.
That was my mom.
Wow.
Because my sister and her friend at church, they fell in love with this puppeteer at junior camp.
Oh.
And they're like, Mom, we got to start a puppet team.
There you go.
But we were I was 8 or 9, so they were a little older, and they started the puppet team. And I was like, I got to be in this team whenever I get big enough,
Right.
So when I was 12, that was when you were allowed to be in children's ministry. I was back there doing puppets, But I was saying it's largely in part due to you, to Dad, to all the leaders that I've been blessed to sit under.
Right.
If they had never seen that in me, I might never have seen it in myself. And I felt a calling, and I wanted to be used of God. But the leadership is really important to see and to push people in that right direction and give them a chance. So I'm thankful that somebody gave me a chance.
Yes.
And I try to do that as a leader now.
Absolutely.
To see the gifts in people and encourage them. I've got a friend on our praise team right now. She has a beautiful voice, but she is so shy, deathly shy. But I've been like, hey, and I'm not saying you have to get out there and lead and talk to people and all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, because she gets anxiety when people say, go, shake somebody's hand.
Oh, yeah.
She just sinks down and picks up her baby. She's
Yeah.
like, no, I don't even want to go shake anybody's hand, But so I've been trying to encourage her, just take one verse, you can do this. And so she's getting braver and stronger, and she's like, but I never would have done it had you not pushed me to do it, And now she's feeling a little more confident, but I'm very grateful. So we, did you want the whole entire?
Well, no.
Starting. You gotta reel me in a little bit.
So starting out in ministry, number one, you made yourself available.
Right.
You trusted the leadership in your life, and you were not afraid to be someone behind the scenes before you were someone in front of the scenes.
Yeah.
And literally, the puppet ministry couldn't get more behind the scenes than it, because you're literally faking something else, acting it out.
That's right.
And it's interesting because, of course, the puppet ministry is fun, and you're very active, and your voices and things like that. But then from there, of course, the Lord had given you a great talent in music ministry as well. Tell us a little bit about how you progressed in that area of ministry.
And again, it's because somebody saw. So Sister Davis,
Yeah.
Greta Davis, the wonderful, amazing Greta Davis.
Yes.
I guess she heard me singing in a kids' choir or something.
Okay.
Because I've always loved to sing or whatever. And she was like, Janet, I think you're an alto.
Very
and I was like,
good.
what's an alto?
What's an alto?
I was like 11, you know. I was like, what's alto? And she
Yeah.
was like, I hear it. I think you're an alto. And I was like, okay, whatever you say.
Sure.
And so she said, I'm going to let you start singing on Sunday nights. And you can just stand beside Anna,
Okay.
her daughter, you know,
Yes.
and we're still best friends.
That's
you know.
Anna Reese, the Colleen
Anna
Anna.
Reese, yeah.
Yes.
So we go way back. Trouble, yes.
Yes.
So she said, just listen to Anna, and you sing what Anna's singing, you know.
Very
And I
good.
was like, okay. And so I started getting an ear for it, and then, of course, we had to have people, because we were just a small church, a small team, you know, whatever. And then we would have to have people do the guy part, you know, because we didn't have enough guys. So they're like, okay, Janet, now we want you to listen to Coley, you know,
There you go.
sing what he's singing.
Learn the tenor part,
You know what I mean? So they kind of trained me to hear different
Yeah.
parts. And then if there was somebody missing, okay, Janet, we need you to go down there and sing soprano. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, we've always been taught ministry. Brother Davis, that's his number one. Ministry is meeting a need.
That's
you
right.
see a need, you meet a need.
Meet the need.
It doesn't mean you've got a microphone. It doesn't mean you're behind. You know,
Right.
you're standing up in front of people. You're meeting a need.
That's right.
And honestly, to be quite frank, I don't prefer to be in front of. You know, my thing is kids.
Right.
So I'll do anything in front of kids. And,
Sure.
but now they've got me like training people at school and stuff, so I get like
Yep.
nervous to talk to adults, you know. So, but at the same time, you have to push yourself and make
That's
yourself.
right.
If God has given you this calling, given you the tools to do it, you got to do it. So
That's right.
So that's how I got started in music, and then
That's right.
Allison,
Yes.
I credit her a lot. She started teaching music. I went to the church school, so she was teaching music. That's when I met her, probably when I was 13 or 14.
Awesome.
And she was teaching music theory, and it was me, Greta, Michael Elderby.
Oh,
he went to
wow.
our school,
Yes,
this
yes.
is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But so she was teaching us all of that, and then she saw something in Greta and I, and you know, all of us kids, and she said, we're going to make a team
Sure.
across Georgia, and we're going to, you know, go and help. And that was the purpose of it, not to
Right.
put you on a pedestal or make you famous.
Right. Right.
It was these smaller churches are doing these
That's
youth
right.
rallies, you remember?
That's
and
right.
Ashley Lepo and you
Absolutely.
and all of us. She's like, we're going to go help these churches so they don't have to stress about music when they're wanting to have a youth rally or whatever.
That's
so we
right.
would travel all around, and then we would help at camp. I think we took a night at camp meeting,
Mhm.
you know, that
Absolutely.
nobody could. So, but that's what she taught us. She was like, we're here to meet a need. We're here to lift up the Lord. You know, that's
Right.
it. It's not about you. It's about
Right.
the Lord. You know?
And it's about meeting the needs there, because there are so many needs that come individually, but also collectively as a church body, and many times there are some ways paved for us to be able to be used in ministry. But in doing that, it came with a lot of sacrifice, because never one time were we paid for it in monetary means. Many times we had to pay our own way to go do these things or meet up.
But we didn't even think about that.
Oh, no,
It
there
was
was
not even a second
no.
thought.
It was like there's an opportunity to
It's
serve.
a privilege.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was always a privilege, always an honor to do so. And so we just jumped at the opportunity. And that's one of the things I want to make sure that not just our church, but our generation, our world today, understands that availability and that passion and that desire to do something for the Lord. If you want to do something for the Lord, He'll give you something to do. And it may not always be exactly what you had in mind, but it may be behind the scenes. It could be in front. You may have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Now, I know with children's ministry, music ministry, but there's a lot of things that you did in ministry to fill in the gaps.
Oh, yeah.
So what were some of those quote-unquote gap fillers that if for instance, example, people may see you up here leading worship, but they also may see you holding a vacuum.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we grew up, we were on the cleaning team. Me
Yep.
and my mom and my sisters, we took, I think we were the only ones for a while.
Yeah.
It was really Adrian, and we would go help her because
Sure.
they paid her a little bit, but we would go help her. And I mean, I don't even remember when we started. I was little.
Yeah.
Because I remember just crawling under the pews to start with.
Right.
I was not cleaning, but I was just playing. Me and Greta
Yeah.
would play hide and seek in the church.
Yep.
But it's just that, availability. You just show up.
That's right.
You just show up. It's really very simple when you think about it. It's not always easy, but it's simple. If there's an open door, you go.
You go.
And Brother Davis asked us to take, and I'm not super technology savvy, I can get by, and he asked Greta and I to do his tape ministry, to make copies of his tapes and mail them out and stuff like that. And I was kid. I was little.
Sure.
But because I was at school, at the church, he was like, hey, on your break, I need you to go make some copies of Sunday's sermon, And I'm talking tape deck.
Cassette tapes,
I'm talking, we didn't have printers. We had a typewriter.
Yeah.
And we would type the title, And,
we may be young folks, but we still know what a typewriter is and what cassette. Now, 8 tracks are a little bit older than us, but nevertheless, I mean, cut us some slack,
Yeah. I mean, we had to rewind. We had to use the rewind button.
Yes.
And rewind, and we would spend our break time at school making labels, and we got to watch a lot of his debates that way.
Oh, yeah.
Brother Davis was very big into debating.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because it was like, without knowing it, we were learning so much of foundation of what we believe. And he was preaching on oneness all the time, and so it's like secondhand, you got all of this stuff, and then we would get to go and hang out in the office. We'd go help clean the office, help Cricket, clean the office sometimes. And I ended up working in the office my senior year.
Wow.
And so I did my paces, in the office. But I got to be around that, and it was just, that was your life. You didn't revolve your life around. Church did not revolve around your life. You revolve your life around church.
All right. I love it.
And it's not even, and again, I've been in seasons of my life where that was all that kept me alive.
That's right. Absolutely.
And even here, and we can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know what else is, like autopilot. You know, when you're going through a season of your life, don't quit, don't give up, don't stop serving. Because through serving, God is going to fill the void in you.
That's right.
And also, but it's important to note that it can't all be just about church, like the building.
Right. Right.
Because also we were teaching Bible studies, and I was very uncomfortable with that also to begin with.
Yeah.
But Trey helped me a lot with
Absolutely.
that. And we would go, like the youth group would go with him. He would take a few of the young people with him to teach a Bible study. And we would just watch for a while, and then he'd be like, okay, Jan, I think you could teach lesson 3 or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, okay, if you think I can do it. But it's like, well, obviously, if he thinks I can do it,
exactly.
I maybe can do it.
Yeah.
And, and I stumbled and stuff, and I stumble over my words all the time. But the need gets met.
That's right.
But God uses our imperfections and our flaws, and it's all about him working through you. It's just a vessel. That's all he needs.
That's right.
Is a vessel.
He just needs our simple humanity.
Exactly.
To work through. I mean, literally, it's interesting that if he can't work through our own humanity, why did he become human?
Humanity.
Why did he become why did he robe himself in flesh if he did not have a plan to work through all the flesh?
Yes.
And so the idea there is that we don't have to get it perfect every time. Right. We don't have to get it right every time. We got to get it right when it's time. But sometimes we're going to mess up. Yeah. Sometimes we're going to fumble. Sometimes we're not going to make the best decisions and the best choices. But nevertheless, if we stay in tune with the Lord and submit to his way and his will, even if we miss it from time to time, we still won't be far from it.
Right.
And we can always, we're in reaching distance of the will of God and saying, okay, God, I messed up on this one. I missed the mark here. So get me back on track.
Amen.
Help me with this. Because I'm sure there was times in your life, Janet, that you didn't always feel like serving God. You didn't always feel like doing the right thing because we're human. Yeah. And even as pure and Christian as we can be, there's still a natural carnal side of us that says, is it really worth it? Do you really have to get up? Do you really have to do this? People will understand if you don't do it.
Yeah.
But it's not about whether people understand. It's about, are we pleasing God?
Right.
And so the idea, too, is that, I don't remember a time where you had left the church and you backslid and, did all of that stuff. But that's a testimony in and of itself that it's that staying power. It's remaining. It's keeping. And tell us a little bit about that. What kept you through those times of your life?
And I won't say, and thank you for that. Again, from the outside, it looks, she's in church,
Yeah.
But like I was saying before, sometimes it did become just like rote memory, just going through the motions. And I will, that's a form of backsliding, I guess. I never walked away.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I might have, grown cold or gone stagnant.
Become complacent.
Complacent, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Many times.
Yeah.
And I've made plenty of mistakes. I've sinned. I've messed up. And I might not have the accolades to show you guys. I was in prison, or I was here, or I was here. But in the shadows,
Right.
I've had my own failings.
Right.
And that's the beautiful thing, that God is a keeper.
That's right.
Whether you walk completely out or you are sitting on a pew, I think it starts on the pew. You backslide first and then you walk out.
Yeah.
But there's been times where I have questioned, what is the point?
Yeah.
What is the point? What is the point? And then God reminds me, it's ministry, it's helping. And
That's
again,
right.
Brother Davis, it's ingrained in me. He said this all the time. Get saved, stay saved. He said, because we can't keep saving the same people every Sunday.
Right.
We need some new people on the altars,
That's
fresh
right.
faces, and then help somebody else get saved.
There
That
you
is
go.
literally your purpose, because if not, and Brother Coley says this all the
Yep.
time, if it wasn't your purpose, then right when you get saved, you drop dead and go to heaven.
Right, exactly.
Because what else is there?
That's exactly right.
But it's faithfulness to Jesus, not
That's right.
necessarily a building or a pastor who I'm very loyal and submitted to
Absolutely.
my authority, and I appreciate. I've been very blessed. I know a lot of people, they have so much trauma in church and stuff, and I've got a little, but comparatively speaking, I've been so blessed to sit under such amazing leadership.
Absolutely.
And they've modeled it through not just the pulpit,
Yeah.
but you were my pastor. You modeled it through every daily life, like encouraging people, reaching out to people. Where can we serve? Where can we meet a need? And a lot of times people can't even see what you're doing.
That's right.
Behind the scenes, you are serving.
That's right.
And it's not publicized.
Right.
And so the connections that I made through church, I've always said that, like, you can have friends, you should have friends that
Right.
are not in church, because how else?
Absolutely.
You got to win them to yourself before you can win them to God.
Right.
But your best friends should be like-minded.
Absolutely.
And so that's been what's kept me too. The faithfulness of God,
That's right.
but also friends who also have gone through the same thing. You're not alone.
Absolutely.
In your pain or in your struggle or in your failings, just to know that you're not alone. And they
So true.
keep reminding you that, do not quit, don't
Right.
give up. And we need each other. The
That's
church,
right.
we need each other. We can't
That's
do
right.
it. We're not islands. We can't do it on our own.